Today I met with Jeff Laliberte, the CEO of Payfactors. Payfactors has revolutionized the compensation category by modernizing it with data and technology. They do so without compromising their culture of integrity. Jeff and I had a very insightful conversation about how he hires, gets the most out of his employees to increase performance, and how he sticks to their philosophy. Stay tuned. I'm here with Jeff Laliberte, the CEO and co-founder of Payfactors. And if you get a chance to look at their Glassdoor reviews, you will see a perfect 5-star rating, 100% approval rating for the CEO. It's clear that they put a tremendous amount into their people strategy, their culture. Jeff, I'd love you to tell us a little bit about Payfactors.
Payfactors, I think the idea behind it was to elevate the category, compensation as a category within companies. I think, a lot of us here grew up in sort of the space, working for big compensation consulting firms or as, high-level positions in private industry and comp roles, and generally felt like compensation could be a little tactical and not so strategic. A lot of the processes that we adhere to even today are anchored by sort of a paper and pencil based process from back in the 50s. People.
Was it one of your first jobs as a consultant for Mercer?
Yeah, so I actually got my exposure in comp as an undergrad. I worked through an internship, the International Foundation of Employee Benefits in the Wharton School of Business, got placed in Mercer's National Survey Group, learned all about data collection and statistics and marketing around surveys, and then, naturally progressed after undergrad into a consultant role, working on compensation plan design for big companies.
Well, I mean, the fact that we can have your perspective on talent and that you are a professional founding a company really in broadly the HR space and strategic talent, it'd be great to get your understanding of what's your philosophy on talent and how do you approach getting the best talent and working with the best people you can?
Yeah, no, I think from day one, our approach, our philosophy around talent has always been to hire really smart, capable, experienced people. We give them a ton of creative license and leeway to do their thing, right? We're not an organization that micromanages. We're constantly looking to feed employees a steady, diverse diet of work, right? Things that might not fall within their typical job description. Again, we're a startup, right? So, we're all about getting our hands dirty and doing lots of different things. And I think that diversity in work and hiring really smart, capable people has led to a good culture. One of the traits of a.
Yeah, how do you keep that feel of where it's a small company really going fast?
I think it's we try to stay anchored to our original philosophy around building and scaling the company, and we try to do our best at maintaining sort of our integrity around how we want to grow the company. You can, as you scale and grow a company, as you're aware, you need more process, you need more infrastructure, but it's about finding a balance, right? You go too far in that category and it can really deteriorate the culture. And
you talked about getting smart and capable people. Do you have any tips or tricks or things that you do to measure like how smart someone is or how creative or capable they are beyond, say, the resume?
Well, I think one of the things that we do, one of our, it's our philosophy here, we're in the business. So one of the things that we look to do is we attempt to pay people really well. People think of compensation as an expense, and it is, but the other side of that is the productivity gains and the operational efficiencies that you get with that talent, right? So our philosophy is hire really great, smart, capable people. We may pay a little bit more. Maybe they're a little more expensive. Maybe we target the 65th percentile for total cash or the 75th percentile for total cash. But on the backside, that one person that we hire can do the equivalent of 3 people, otherwise.
Right.
So we gain the operational efficiencies and the productivity on the backside.
Now, do you think when people come here, when people enter the top of your hiring funnel, they know that you guys are healthy payers. They obviously know you have a good culture from your Glassdoor ratings.
I hope so. I hope they know that we're healthy payers. I mean, and we're, like any startup organization, right? It's a journey. It's not like day one we could afford to pay, the 90th percentile of total cash. We can't do that today, right? We don't have, by design, we don't have 80 million in capital that we raised through a venture capital firm, right? We fund the operations of the company on receivables.
Right.
And so, over the course of time, as we become more profitable and as this organization becomes a little more cash rich, we're able to expand our philosophy deeper into the organization around comp.
I mean, just because I have this opportunity to talk to you,
Yeah.
it's a slight derivation of talent, but why should people think more strategically about comp?
Compensation as a category is sort of underutilized, underappreciated, undervalued at organizations. There's a process that, without going into too much detail, compensation professionals tend to go through around benchmarking and market pricing jobs, right? They participate in surveys. It's a very tedious, time-consuming process. They wait 9 months to get the data back. They age the data because it's old. They weight it because they don't trust it. They adjust it because they don't trust it. They load it into Excel spreadsheets, and they try to come up with a market value for a position. And then they update their salary structures. And that's one way to do it, and I think compensation professionals are doing the best they can with the tools that they have available for themselves today. But we take a different approach. We feel like technology and data should have a huge say in hand in influencing retention rates at the departmental level and at the company level. Technology and data should enhance collaboration. It should foster more communication and transparency at the manager level, at the employee level, and ultimately we should develop KPIs around retention and measure those.
Oh, that's great. And you're seeing that with not only your own company, but some of your clients?
Yeah, and I think that, again, everything is a journey. Our technology, we're not at the pinnacle of our vision today with our technology and our data. We're light years ahead of where we were 3 years ago. We're light years ahead of where we were a year ago, right? It's a journey, but we've always had a consistent philosophy and strategy around where we wanted to take the category. We wanted to revolutionize compensation, right? We're not in this business to be, a company that houses, third-party surveys for clients. Right. That's not the idea behind this.
So taking your strong philosophies about talent, about compensation, how do you push that down in your organization to make sure that not just your direct reports, but their direct reports and their direct reports are carrying on, some of the philosophical things that you
understand the value of talent?
Yeah, broadly.
I think it goes back to, in part, what I mentioned earlier, right? I think everyone here knows we're very transparent. We're an organization that, from day one, we were not interested. I'm not judging anyone else, any other company, but we were not interested as an organization in raising 80 million in capital and throwing bodies at problems. Yeah. When we've got an issue, we got a problem, well, let's just throw more bodies at it. That's not the way we started the company. It's not the way we scaled the company. It's not who we are today and where we're going to be going forward. So all of our departmental leaders understand that philosophy, embrace that philosophy. They understand that it's about hiring, the criticality of hiring the right people in the right job, giving them a lot of creative license and freedom to do their job without micromanaging them, providing this great culture for people to thrive and giving them a nice, steady, diverse diet of work beyond what they would typically do. We try to expose our employees to different things.
And you see that in spades in your reviews. People actually comment that there's a lot of autonomy.
Yeah, that's great.
And you're pushing stuff down. Super job. So if you comp someone, say 60th to 75th percentile, but their performance is now, say, 40th percentile, how do you approach that? You've got that mismatch, and what do you do about it?
Then it becomes a performance management issue, right? And we have to look at ourselves as leaders. Are we giving those employees the right tools and the right opportunities and the right environment to sort of shine and do their jobs at a high level, or is there something that we are giving them all that stuff and they're not able to execute, right? Sometimes it's not always you hire really smart, capable people. This is another philosophy of ours. You hire really smart, capable people, you put them in roles, and sometimes they don't work out in that role. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad fit for the organization. It just means they're a bad fit for that job.
So you move them around
We'll
internally.
move them around.
Yeah.
And we give people shots. I mean, when I was early in my career, I don't shy away from the fact that where I started was a terrible fit. And I bounced around, and I was very fortunate to have a leader at that time that had patience and put me into different positions until I found a role to thrive in.
So one last question about, in such a high pressure job, how do you make sure you balance work and life to make sure that you have young children?
Well, yeah, no, and that's a philosophy of ours as well, right? When we started the company, since day one, and it's still like this today, we don't babysit our employees. It's not about punching a clock. It's about efficiency, right? And people have their own schedules. People have their own commitments. People have their own interests. We trust our employees. We measure everything. We track everything, so we know if something's going off the rails or off the track. But generally speaking, we let people do their thing. It's real heavy on work-life balance. So we've got, I'll take myself as an example. I got 2 young kids. I got a 10 and a 9. I enjoy my mornings with my kids. I like to get up. I like to get them ready for school. I like to have breakfast with them. I don't get into work till 10 o'clock.
That's great.
But I'll leave at 6:37, and I'll go home and I'll have dinner with my kids, and then I do a little more work until 11:30, maybe midnight, and then I'm back at it the next day. And that schedule works for me. It might be terrible for other people. Again, we give people a lot of leeway and the ability to get their job done. And as long as their job is getting done, we're okay.
Well, clearly it's working. Jeff, it's been a privilege to learn from you, and it's amazing what I've seen. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's great.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.